How about kidneys? How about for the kidneys?
Well, that's right. The kidneys, we haven't studied kidney function formally yet, and it's on the agenda. But there's no question that the kidneys are acutely sensitive to vascular health and dilatation and ability to respond to stress. So there's no question that kidneys would be a prime beneficiary of this kind of supplementation. And certainly the liver, the pancreas, and the heart are very well studied. So we look at this as a cardiometabolic product, helping all these systems. And we're also doing some studies on neural protection, on protection of the vessels in the brain and how that might affect, brain health. So
you got a panacea here. You've got liver, you got kidney.
It really is. It always seems too good to be true until we talk to some real scientists who say, no, it all makes very much sense because, as you and I have discussed, when you affect some very, very basic cellular processes, then all the organs which are controlled by those processes will benefit. So it all makes sense. And I think this area of erectile function, we've studied this in concert with arterial stiffness, which is always improved. So one way to look at it is we take stiffness out of one area, the arteries, and put it somewhere else where people seem to enjoy. So,
and you're talking 1,600 milligrams a day, did I hear you say?
No. It would be 1,300, 650 milligram tablets. And it's very important that people take the 38%, which you have, concentration. I mean, we do know that there have been other products over the years made from bergamot. Usually it's not the Calabrian, but sometimes it is. But these are very weak concentrations. They're never 1,300 milligrams, and they're never 38%. And what we've known for many, many years is that those kind of doses help a minority of patients and by very modest amounts. So most people don't benefit from the inferior products that they could find. And interestingly, they look like they're cheaper when you go to Amazon and some other places, but they're very small doses and usually 2-week supplies and not very good. So the Bergamax is 60 pills,
$45,
which is a very, very and very high concentration and the right dose. So this has been very, very well studied, and all of our science is based on the same 38% and the same number of milligrams that you get in Bergamax.
Now, the Bergamax product, that's available on Brightside Health Products. It's brightsidehealthproducts.com. It's $45 for 60 tablets. There's a couple things that you guys are doing differently with the Bergamax. Number one, you mentioned Calabria, right?
Calabria, that southern Italy area.
So what is it about, because bergamot grows in Mexico too, what is it about the Italian or the Calabrian bergamot that makes it different?
Well, what happens is there's a microenvironment there. This is right across the Strait of Messina from Sicily, and the particular conditions of the soil and the humidity and others causes the fruit to have a rich content in these polyphenols. Bergamot itself can be grown in Mexico and probably even California and Florida, but when the polyphenol content in the pulp is extracted and analyzed, it doesn't have nearly the concentrations that you need of these rich health-producing polyphenols and amino acids and other elements that make this very special.
And it's excuse me for interrupting you, it's also the Calabrian form that's got all the research behind it. Is that correct?
Well, that's right. 90% of the bergamot in the world is in that area of Italy. So here is a group of research scientists, both in Rome and at the University of Catanzaro, who have the Interregional Center for Food Safety and Health and dedicated millions of euros of government money to study this. So it's really the only area, since there are about 1,000 growers, it's the only area of the world where they're intensely interested from an economic point of view in the benefits of that fruit. It's a big industry for them.
And also, you guys are doing something different with it's not the peel, right? It's the rind, the white part.
It really is the pulp and the albedo, which is the rind. It's the inner lining that has the high concentration. So the actual peel people are familiar with because the oil or essence of bergamot has been developed from the peel, which has been central to the perfume industry and Earl Grey tea, among a few other products. It's a wonderful scent, and it's really the traditional industry. So it's only been the last several years that the scientists have said, well, let's look at the pulp, which is rich in these amino acids and in the polyphenols, and see if there's some health benefits, noting that people tended to live longer in that region and get less heart disease. So there was something about this region and the city Reggio de Calabria, sometimes called the City of Bergamot. There's actually a museum of bergamot called the Bergamoto Museum, and it's a very dynamic industry for them, but this scientific effort is relatively new.
Now, you can't really do anything with the bergamot fruit itself aside from oil, right? It's not you can't eat it.
Well, it's very tough to eat. No, there's a few old hardy souls that do eat this, and they tend to live longer. But it's there are a lot of supplies, marmalade and soaps that have been made, and I mean they've done a fair amount with the peel. And when you go to the museum, I don't think anybody will necessarily make a trip down there, but that museum, there's shelves and shelves over the last 100 years of various different products, food and otherwise, and perfumes that have been developed. So probably the most recent an innovation has been with these bergamot supplements.
Doc, we're out of time. I wanted to talk skin stuff. I know you got a topical product coming out, and bergamot flavonoids can also be helpful for